Welcome to the second episode of India Through Education. And today we have a very, very special guest, Aakriti Goel. And Aakriti will introduce herself, and she is making news all over the country. She is becoming a role model for many of the youngsters. So, Aakriti, very warm welcome to the show, India Through Education. And I would like you to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for the invitation and very honored to be here. As you said, I'm Akriti. I am a BITS Pilani engineer. I graduated in 2015 and I have been working in tech startups in Bangalore. And 2020, I had quit my job. I took a small sabbatical to recover from a hormonal imbalance, and I started thinking about what I want to do next. Should I go back to my job? Should I do something else? And during that time, I think I also started feeling a lot of purposeless in life, because I knew what I was doing. I was earning well, I was leading things, I was leading operations in the last role, but something deep inside me, that void was not getting filled. I did not feel that I was making any major impact doing what I'm doing. So that's when I thought a lot about what I should do next, and I contacted one of my friends who is a career coach. He did this famous Japanese ikigai exercise with me. He did a very different assessment of that exercise, and I was not very happy with that. So I went back and I did the exercise again by myself.
Mhm.
And the difference this time was that he did the exercise, figuring out what I can do next given what I've done before. So he wanted to figure
Mhm.
out the next path based on what I've done, what are my skills, what are my
Right.
qualities, what are my
Right.
weaknesses. But I realized that the approach that I should probably take was to go back to the basics. What I was originally good at, what I was originally passionate about, forget what I have done. Because generally, when we are climbing a mountain, we think that, okay, we're already halfway there, so let's just go to the top. But
Right.
I think that was the biggest error in doing that thing on my end. So I thought, why not climb down the mountain? Why not sit at the base and then decide which mountain to climb?
Sorry, we
So
lost you, Akriti.
yeah, so I
When
did
you
that
were
exercise. Background, sorry, yeah, my internet is a bit shaky, I'm so sorry about it.
no, that's
Where
fine.
did you lose me?
Yeah, so you were saying that I came back to the from the mountain, like you came back and started thinking about
Yes.
yourself.
So I came back. I removed everything, every variable that was there in my
Mhm.
life at that
Right.
point, and
Right.
I thought from scratch. What was I always good at? So the four ikigai circles that he told me were that: one, what you do, uh, what you like to do; second,
Okay.
what you're good at;
Mm-hmm.
third is that will it pay you money; fourth is
Mm-hmm.
that what does the society get out of it. So
Okay. Okay.
these are the four circles, and it's like a Venn diagram. Like these
Right.
four
Right.
have to intersect somewhere, and
Right.
there can be things that can fit in all the four, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So that was the exercise, and I was always passionate about bio as a kid. I used to score very good marks in bio without any effort. It was like, my time pass subject, and I was very passionate about it. But
Okay.
in India, I think we have to make very difficult choices at a very young age of
Yeah,
16,
that is
17.
what I wanted to ask you. That going back to, we will come back to your current situation, but I wanted you to take us little backwards, and what you are describing, that as a young student, what were the choices, what were the options, and why did not you choose? You said that you enjoyed biology, but
Yeah.
you did not take it up. So what was the reason, and if you can describe that.
Sure. So I was good at bio. There was no doubt till ninth. I also, had this fleeting thought in my head that, I could be a good surgeon. I like bio. I'm good at it. But 10th May, when there was the time to select that stream of PCM, PCB versus PCM, I used to see my cousin from IIT, and he used to visit us home. He was at IIT Bombay, and he used to sit with me and sometimes teach me. And he used to say कि यार physics and maths तेरा ठीक है, above average है. Why do you want to become a doctor? नहीं, बहुत time लगेगा, 10 साल लग जाएंगे.
I
और
see.
अभी ऐसा लगता है कि बायो अच्छा है, अच्छा बहुत स्ट्रगल है डॉक्टर में.
I see.
इंजीनियर बहुत अच्छी स्ट्रीम है, एंड यू आर अबव एवरेज इन बोथ द सब्जेक्ट्स. ठीक है, बायो अच्छा है, बट तू सोच, मतलब देखना, मैं आईआईटी में हूँ, उसके बाद मैं बाकी मैं एमएस भी करने जा सकता हूँ. बाकी मेरा करियर छोटा है बट इम्पैक्टफुल है, जल्दी हो जाएंगी चीजें और फटाफट से सक्सेस मिलता है. एंड सो ही सेड कि अरे मतलब बहुत कम लोगों का फिजिक्स और मैथ्स अच्छा होता है. आई थिंक यू शुड डू, you are really suitable for being an engineer. And he was my role model,
I see. So he was your role
and
model.
he is still my role model. So
Okay. Okay.
yes, at that
So
time
he
I
influenced you
always wanted to
basically.
be like. He did
Okay.
not influence me. I think he just advised me. I was like a typical child who was
Yeah.
lost
Okay.
in what to do. A lot of
Sure.
people still have that bent of mind towards bio versus physics. A lot of people know that physics is not my cup of tea, bio is not my cup of tea. For
Right.
me, it was more of a confusing state of mind.
Right.
So, so
And where
I
were you
slowly and steadily.
studying? Where were you studying? In which
Mumbai,
school? Where?
Mumbai. I was in Navi Mumbai, Airoli, DAV. I was
I see.
in
I see.
CBSE school.
I
हाँ,
see.
तो वैसा था. And I used to score like equally well in all the subjects. तो बहुत ही confusing situation था.
I see.
And so that happened, and my parents said कि you are good in bio, you should definitely consider doing medicine. You'll do well. We are telling you this. But I was like, no, I think I also want to go to IIT. I had that IITian dream that I want to crack JEE and make my parents proud of the fact that I have cracked JEE. So uh, so yeah, so that happened, and my teachers were very unhappy that why I'm taking engineering. I was always good at bio. What is this random shift? But I was very hellbent, and hence I started preparing for JEE.
Okay.
And I couldn't get through IIT. I did not get a very good rank in AI but luckily I was good at the BITS exam that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and I got in to Pilani campus. I was happy and I wanted to take it up, so I went with the decision, and rest is history. I spent there five
Sure.
years
Sure.
and then again I
But
think
did you enjoy the classes and like everything?
so I was a dual degree student. I did MSc honors economics and
I see.
BTech triple E. So it's a 5-year course.
Okay.
And I was the economics topper of my batch. My GPA was 10 on 10.
Wow.
But I could not do like a lot of justice to triple E. I struggled a lot with electronics, and I could not appreciate the underlying beauty of the subject. I think
I see.
I tried a lot, but it was not something that that was my cup of tea. मतलब
Okay.
वो
Okay.
जिंग नहीं था वो चीज में.
Right. Right.
इकोनॉमिक्स अच्छा लगता था बहुत, बट
Mm.
इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में थोड़ा सा मुश्किल था. एंड आई ऑलमोस्ट वांटेड टू क्विट इट कि नहीं करना है, बट देन इट
Okay.
वाज लाइक कि यार
Okay.
ठीक है, अब आ गए हैं तो कर लेते हैं, अब
Yes.
क्या फायदा.
Right.
So I somehow I went through it, and ultimately I scored 8.8 CGPA. So I was pretty content with my effort, and I was like, "ठीक है, चलो, not bad."
Yeah.
And but I was sure that I didn't want engineer job as such.
Okay.
So and उस समय campus पे companies used to come, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan, all your investment banks, and they used to offer very typical analyst roles and everything. So I was not
Mm-hmm.
very interested in all that because I had done an internship with an investment bank, but I was not very happy. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought कि कुछ different करते हैं, मतलब let's try something different. So I did not take up my college placement,
Mm-hmm.
and I went out of the way, and I registered myself outside the process.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured out on LinkedIn and other platforms about what kind of jobs are available. I wanted to be in a startup. उस समय 2015 में, given the Flipkart, Snapdeal glory and everything, there was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of buzz कि अरे new age startups हैं, Series A, Series B, all that buzz was happening. So I wanted to be a part of that, and I wanted to see how it is. So that's when I started working at startups. I think that was the best decision of my life, and I went on to spend around 6 years in different startups. My last stint was in a healthcare startup where I was leading operations, and a huge team of more than 100 people reported to me.
Oh, wow.
and I was like the go-to fixer for the founder, as they say. And there were some doctors I used to interact with because they used to report to me as well, because we had a couple of live sessions with pregnant women and early moms who used to interact with the doctors. So my role was to make sure that the entire thing was running smoothly.
Mhm.
So there was a doctor who was very close to me, and sometimes, we used to sit after hours, and I used to tell her that, I also wanted to be a doctor. I used to imagine how her life must be, and then she used to say कि अब बन जाओ, क्या problem है.
Acha, I
तो
see.
आई यूज्ड टू से कि अरे नहीं नहीं यार, आप क्या मजाक कर रहे हो, अब तो बहुत लेट हो गया, मतलब आई एम
Acha,
28, कैसे हो
yeah,
सकता है.
yeah.
शी इज लाइक कि नहीं नहीं हो सकता है, मतलब इंडिया का तो नहीं पता, एटलीस्ट बाहर तो ट्राई कर ही सकते हो, मतलब चाहो तो कर सकते हो, क्यों
Uh-huh.
नहीं कर लेते हो. तो आई यूज्ड टू लाफ एट इट, एंड वी यूज्ड टू लेट इट गो. सो
Mm.
समवेयर that thing was always there in my head. Even in Pilani, when we had bio in the first year, I used to love that subject. मतलब एंड आई यूज्ड टू वंडर अगेन कि यार क्यों नहीं कर लिया था मेडिसिन, मतलब क्यों क्यों कर लिया इंजीनियरिंग, कभी कभी लगता था, बट देन इट वाज अगेन फ्लीटिंग थॉट्स एंड आई डिड नॉट पे अटेंशन टू इट. सो
Mhm.
या.
So it was, I think, I don't know if you believe in destiny, but it was destined, and somehow, you were getting all the platforms, the job, the work you did, you had interaction with doctors,
Yeah,
and one of the doctors also like somehow encouraged you, and you discussed about it. So it was always there in your, as part of your life, it was brewing kind of thing, I would say.
pretty much.
Okay, yeah,
In
so
fact,
great.
it's a funny joke that I don't know. My parents saw some astrologer long back when I was in ninth class, and he
I see.
apparently said that she should be a surgeon. And they
Oh,
used to tell me that पंडित ने बोला है कि
wow.
सर्जन बन. So I used to feel very annoyed कि ये पंडित के बोलने पे सर्जन थोड़ी बनूंगी, मतलब ये क्या है. तो
Yeah, unless I want to become a surgeon,
हाँ,
है
so
ना? So
I was always like नहीं नहीं, I don't want to be a surgeon or anything.
so what was, yeah, great. So what was the turning point? When did you like decide, and how did it happen that you decided to quit the engineering profession? Like not, you were not doing engineering profession, but whatever you are doing, and when did you decide, and how did you decide that no, now I, enough is enough, now I really want to become a doctor? And
Right.
how did you start?
So January 2020, I fell sick. I had a hormonal imbalance,
Yeah, you
and
said so. Yeah.
I started taking medicines for it. But I was not well because I was overworked, and
Mhm.
I think I was overworked. Plus, I was not feeling that inner core satisfaction of why am I alive. I think that question started coming up a lot more often. Ki, why am I here? What's the point? What am I doing with my life? Okay, I am good at what I'm doing. I get a lot of money. I get a lot of fame. I get a lot of spotlight in what I'm doing. I have
Mhm.
good connection, good network, everything. But
Mhm.
something was missing. So रोज ये ख्याल आता था around evening time कि I used to feel sad कि क्यों करना है, क्या करना है. मतलब वो थोड़ा सा, nothing was making me happy. I had everything. So that was the red alert in my life that I started questioning it. And by March, I felt really, really sick, and I had to take a off from my work, and I eventually quit. So 2 days into the lockdown, coincidentally, I quit because I was not feeling well.
In
So I thought
2020,
that I'm, March.
March 2020. Okay.
Yeah. So I thought, ki, okay, let's rest. Let's not do anything. I need to first wipe out this slate clean, and then let's figure out what I should do. So 3 months I did not do absolutely anything. July tak मैं एकदम chill मार रही थी. I was painting, doing yoga,
Sure.
watching some bullshit series, and doing random stuff
Mhm.
because कुछ करने के लिए था नहीं. We were all under lockdown, and I could not go anywhere, and I was alone in Bangalore at home.
Mhm.
So I
But
was just
that is that
resting,
is that
and
is again, Akriti, I think that is also a very important point where you are just giving it as a passing reference
sure,
that I was not doing anything. But I think, at times, it becomes so important in your life that
absolutely,
you just do nothing, and
absolutely,
just do nothing, and then you evolve as a person, you evolve as a human being, and as individual. I think that's very important. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
that's, yeah,
there's a lot of stigma in our society कि अरे एक महीना नौकरी नहीं की, एक महीना
yeah,
सैलरी नहीं
yeah,
आई, क्या
yeah,
होगा, मतलब
yeah,
ऐसे
yeah,
गैप ईयर आ जाएगा रेज्यूमे
right.
पे. सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन गैप ईयर आ जाएगा रेज्यूमे पे,
Right,
वो कैसे
right,
एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, क्या
right,
बहाना मारूं मैं कि मैंने 3
right,
महीने नौकरी क्यों नहीं की. सो
right,
इट्स सच अ वियर्ड थिंग
right.
to even, like judge somebody about.
Mhm.
So I did not care. Like I was like, ठीक है यार, मतलब I'll if a person does not want to buy my story, I'd rather not work with that person. I'll find people who'll be accepting of the fact that I took a 3 month
Yes,
sabbatical. I'll
yes,
figure it out.
yeah, yeah,
It's not the end of life, right? क्या हो
yeah,
जाएगा,
of
दूसरा
course,
जॉब मिल जाएगा, मतलब big deal.
yeah.
So कम पैसे मिलेंगे, मतलब it's not the end of life. So I was like, okay, ठीक है. So then I in July I got a bit restless कि मतलब ठीक है, now that I feel good, now that I feel healthy, I what to do next, क्या करना है अब. So I always wanted to work. So I worked with a women's startup for 2 years, जो मेरा last stint था. And
Right, right.
on the side I always had this thing कि to do something for women, something for society, because I
Sure.
am very close to that problem of sexual harassment and violence against women. I try to help people from time to time in my own capacity.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to do something around it. So I wanted to open an NGO. I tried to contact a lot of people. I even considered studying gender studies
Oh, wow.
in Jamia Millia, and I contacted a couple of profs. And थोड़ा hazy था, मतलब I was trying out a lot of things, different things,
Yeah.
कि अच्छा ठीक है, maybe this is, I can take a turn, I can join Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and maybe I can. So I figured out what kind of jobs do they do in police stations when they are stationed, things like that. तो काफी dynamic research किया था मैंने. I even thought of becoming a full-time yoga instructor, because I thought yoga helped me a lot in recovering from my illness.
Mhm.
And I thought maybe I could open a center of myself for myself, and I could teach
Mhm.
Zumba and yoga both, because I've done both for a long time.
Mhm.
And things like that. So then I did that ikigai exercise with my coach Devashish, and that day was the day when he did that exercise. And उसने कुछ और assessment निकाला था, but then I came back and I was not very happy, and I was like, ये तो वही हो गया पुराना वाला. He's telling me to go into sales, मतलब वही कर रही हूँ मैं, corporate
Right,
client
right,
relationship, वो तो
right.
मुझे नहीं करना है. His assessment was perfect, like given what I have done, but I could figure out कि वो वापस जाके करना है, वो एडिशन नहीं देखना है, उसको डिलीट करना है और वापस से लिखना है.
Mhm.
So that's when I thought कि यार, मतलब I used to tell myself कि I'm good at bio. I used to like bio. I was good at it, and it can pay me money for surviving at least. And the world needs more doctors for sure.
Mhm. Right.
So do you think I can? I used to ask myself, do you think you can do it? Like now, after 10 years, you have not picked up a pen. I did not have a pen at home. I had to go and buy a pen when I started preparing. So क्योंकि typing
Everything
करते
is
हैं
on
ना,
computer. Yeah, yeah.
we don't need it. So I had to buy a notebook, and I had to. So I thought कि okay, let's see कि syllabus क्या है, कैसे अभी क्या चल रहा है, even
And
what is the age limit.
when was this? Which month of 2020?
July. So this is
July.
July 13th or 17th, if I
I see.
don't remember it properly.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that happened, and then I spoke to a lot of people around age limit, because there's a lot of misinformation around on the internet कि age limit है 25 में नहीं कर सकते.
Mhm.
Couple of people said कि नहीं, Supreme Court will come out with a new judgment and say कि you cannot do it.
Mhm.
Then I spoke to NMC, National Medical Commission legal advisor. I found, can I study MBBS? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just had to put a charging on my laptop.
Not a
Yes.
problem. Yeah.
So yeah, so then I called that NMC legal advisor, and I asked him, "Ki, sir, can I study medicine? Like I am an engineer, काफी time हो गया, I'm 28, कर सकते हैं क्या?"
Mhm.
He said, "Please आइए ना, most welcome. आप जैसे लोगों की जरूरत है देश को
Right.
मेडिसिन पढ़ने के लिए."
I see.
That was the day I felt so pumped. It was 11 in the morning, and I never felt so motivated. And I said, "Thank you so much, sir. जिस दिन मेरा सिलेक्शन होगा मैं आपको पक्का कॉल करूंगी
Wow.
and I will let you know and I would love to meet you and come to Delhi someday and really meet you. He said कि please welcome, please give meet and आप बताना कैसा हुआ परीक्षा.
I see.
So I think that was a turning point and I then started looking up YouTube channels. Okay. So yeah, so I started looking up YouTube channels to figure out what all teachers are available. Unacademy, Vedantu, बहुत सारे थे, and I wanted to figure out if I could, test waters, and I could basically check if I still have that in me to study. I didn't want to pay for a class upfront, and
Sure.
I thought maybe I'm just getting high on a temporary whim, and I thought let's not be overconfident. So I gave myself 15 days and I told myself that if I can study 10 hours every day without once cribbing or whining about the fact कि syllabus बहुत ज़्यादा है and ये तो नहीं हो पाएगा, only then I will pursue, because if I'm not able to sustain it 15 days, I cannot sustain it 15 years. So
Right.
I wanted to make sure that.
So you said that you wanted to test waters first, and
Yes.
yeah. So can you start from there again? Restart from there?
Yes. Yes. So I wanted to understand if I have
Sure.
had the courage and I had the confidence and I had the perseverance, more importantly,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
pursue it for next 15 days without any whining or cribbing. And because I knew I had to study for next 15 years, and if 15 days were difficult for me, so 15
Yeah.
years to बहुत ही मुश्किल. So I started studying. It was very interesting. My hands used to pain a lot क्योंकि मुझे लिखने की आदत नहीं थी. And but it was all the more very refreshing. It was like visiting childhood books कि अच्छा हाँ ये भी पढ़ा करते थे,
Right.
right, this
Right.
anime used to be
Yeah.
there, things like that. So
Yeah.
it was very interesting, and honestly I studied for 10-11 hours without any external motivation, without anything. रोज मैं उठती थी, सुबह पढ़ती थी, and धीरे धीरे I felt कि यार मैं एकदम सही चीज कर रही हूँ. This is it.
Right.
This is finally it.
Right.
And August 1st, I informed my parents that I've decided to pursue medicine.
Yeah. That's very. I'm very curious to hear their reaction.
So they were like, MBA, MBBS, समझ नहीं आया. so,
Yeah.
so I'm like, Papa, medicine, doctor वाला. So he was like कि बचपन में कहा था तुमसे पढ़ लो, क्यों नहीं पढ़ा?
I see.
So I told him that this is what I want to do. He said कि PhD कर लो या कुछ और कर लो. Why do you want to start from scratch? या फिर
Yeah.
मतलब
Yeah.
स्टोरी क्या है, क्यों करना है? सोच लिया है कि नहीं, बहुत टाइम लगेगा. You're 28, 29 में तुम शुरू करोगे. अगर पहली बार में नीट एग्जाम क्लियर हुआ, बहुत कंपटीशन है देश में, रिजर्वेशन है, वी आर जनरल कैटेगरी, कैसे
Right.
होगा? So typical parent concerns, and
Yeah. Of course. Of
they were
course.
very supportive. They said कि please घर आ जाओ, घर आके पढ़ लो. And I said कि नहीं, I'll study here only क्योंकि concentration ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. घर पे एकदम vacation वाला माहौल होता है, तो नहीं हो पाएगा. So let me study alone here, and then I'll come back when I give the exam. So yeah, so they were pretty supportive, and they used to face a lot of concerns from their family and
Of
friends. But
course. Yeah.
I think they navigated it very well, and they were like, ठीक है, देखते हैं, अभी तो कुछ हुआ नहीं है, देखेंगे, देखेंगे.
I see.
So
I see.
yeah, so but at the back of it, they were always like कि अच्छा कितने मार्क्स आए टेस्ट में कल, कैसा स्कोर रहा, कौन फर्स्ट आया क्लास में, जो क्लास टेस्ट होते थे कि
Right.
कौन से सब्जेक्ट में इशू आ रहा है, कोई बुक्स तो नहीं चाहिए, रेफरेंस बुक्स प्लीज बता दो अगर हम खरीद सकते हैं तो. वेरी वेरी सपोर्टिव. सो या.
Wonderful. So what was your strategy to prepare for NEET? Because I'm sure this video will be also watched by some of the NEET aspirants, as we work with a lot of government school students and like in rural areas or in small towns. So
Sure.
can you give some advice to them who are watching as NEET aspirants here?
So this is the most widely asked question, and there is a lot of content around how to study for NEET. The answer is very simple. Just study NCRT 10 times.
I see.
Read NCRT 10 times. Make it your Bible. सुबह शाम दोपहर बस NCRT पढ़ो. NCRT के पीछे के क्वेश्चंस करो. पिछले साल के क्वेश्चंस करो. 5 बार 6 बार 7 बार, जितनी आपकी श्रद्धा है, जितना आप कर सकते हो. NCRT एग्जाम्पलर सॉल्व करो. सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है टेस्ट दो. आई गेव अराउंड 100+ मॉक टेस्ट्स.
I see.
There are free mock tests by NTA also. So if somebody is not able to afford, मतलब बहुत है online पे tests वगैरह, An Academy, Vedantu, they keep organizing things like that. I used to do a lot of online quizzes. जैसे YouTube पे they put quizzes, तो मैं वो क्वेश्चन बताते थे, मैं पॉज करके सुन लेती थी, बिकॉज मैंने एक भी रेफरेंस बुक नहीं खरीदी. आई वांटेड टू सेव अ लॉट ऑफ मनी बिकॉज इट वाज माय ओन मनी दैट आई वाज स्पेंडिंग, एंड आई
Mhm,
थॉट कि अगले 6 साल भी काम चलाना है इन्हीं पैसों से.
mhm,
सो आई डिड नॉट बाय एनी रेफरेंस बुक्स.
mhm,
कभी कभी मैं एच सी वर्मा से फिजिक्स के कॉन्सेप्ट्स पढ़ लेती थी, बिकॉज
mhm.
एन सी आर टी में कुछ चीज़ नहीं समझ में आई, एंड यू नो इट्स अ बिट tough or the language is a bit weird. So I
Right.
used to refer to HC Verma PDF. I did not buy HC Verma because I thought, why I don't want to spend another 600, 700 bucks. And I
Oh,
just
so
bought NCRT.
you are managing that like all the resources.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I used to buy 2 rupees pens. This is the actual story. I never bought a
Wow.
5 rupee pen because
Wow.
I didn't want to spend anything out of which is unnecessary. I've always been frugal about my money since day one, but this was a time when I had to save a lot. And I thought कि हो सकता है कि next year भी preparation करना पड़े 2 साल, तो I need to have enough funds, and next 6 years I have to survive college also to pay my fee and everything. So
Mhm.
I have to think accordingly.
But were you
So
same when you were preparing for engineering? The same, like,
yeah, I was
so
exactly the same. Like
it was like by default you are like that.
yeah. So I never
But the message to the students is that you can still crack exams with 2 rupees pen, and like by reading PDF, and
yeah.
by finding a lot of free materials on online.
So I did join an coaching class because I बहुत साल हो गए थे actually
Right,
10 साल, and मतलब from scratch with no friends, मतलब
yeah,
मेरे कोई दोस्त ही नहीं थे. All my
that's
friends
fine.
are married, and they're currently living in big houses with and planning their kids. So
Yeah.
they are very different in mindset compared to what I was doing, and I had no peer support. So for me, it was very important that I have some structure. So I thought I'll join a class. At least class होगी तो थोड़ा schedule बन जाएगा. So I think the most important part is that you should have a schedule. कि आप एक discipline होना चाहिए. So motivation can come and go every day. Motivation may not happen on a very rough day in life, but if you're
Mhm.
disciplined to do something, you won't need motivation, because it's like sometimes you don't feel like taking a bath in the morning. It's too cold or we are too
Yeah.
lazy, but we
Mhm.
have to do it, right? Because there is no option. So you can't rely on motivation on these things. So the most important part is to build self-discipline. Like
Mhm.
you should be self-disciplined about it. And I realized one thing, that in this journey I am by myself. I I need to be my own cheerleader. Like there were days when I used to score less marks and I was sad about it, but I had to lift myself up. कोई और नहीं करेगा. Mostly we wait for other people to clap for us, but I think we need to do it for ourselves.
Mhm.
So my biggest message to anybody looking at this video is that you know why you're doing what you're doing. You understand what you want to be. So be your own cheerleader till the
Mhm.
time the world is not ready to clap for you. You know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you have to be that person.
Right. Right. And how many hours like did you devote after July, August, every day? Like, as you said, 10 hours you started with, but did you like increase the number of hours?
पूरा दिन ही चला जाता था. I used to sleep a lot. मतलब I used to sleep for 10 hours. For me, sleeping is very important. And no matter what anyone says कि कम सो के पढ़ना चाहिए, so that is the wrong formula, because if you
Right.
don't give yourself enough sleep, the body will not be recharged, and
Yeah.
it will actually cause anxiety. So I
Yeah.
slept a lot. I slept for 10 hours. I studied remaining hours, मतलब whatever I could,
Mhm.
except 1.5 hours of me exercising daily. That was one thing I stuck to. I exercised every day because that's what I've been doing for last 4 years, and I did not want to make any compromise on it. So if
Yeah.
I actually exercised till 2 days before my NEET exam, because that kept me alive. And
Yeah.
everybody has their own way of, I think, de-stressing, or that
Or
unwinding.
staying, yeah, yeah,
And
unwinding or staying fit, or like,
it was
yeah,
good
so burning
mentally.
your energy also, that
Yeah,
you burn and then you regain fresh
correct.
energy. Yeah, that is what you need to do. And
Less
I think
oxygen.
what you are very right, Akriti, because nowadays you don't see many youngsters like, they focus on study, and when they are studying, they don't focus on exercising or
I was
physical
like
health.
that. I was like that in 12th. I was 80 kgs when I studied for JEE. I
Mhm.
was obese, and
Oh, I see.
I did not do anything. Like even in
Mm,
this, I used to just study, 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 no exercise,
yeah,
nothing. And I know
but
like
I think that should not be the way
you need
to
to
do
have a
things.
realistic life. Okay,
Yeah. So physical health, mental health are very
absolutely.
important, you know. So
People actually skip the mental health part and think कि अरे अगर हम 10 घंटे पढ़ेंगे तो चीजें हो जाएंगी. But you know what about the fact that your mind is not with you physically? Okay, you have the physical strength to do it, but you will only be recharged when your mind is happy. And you need those hormones, you need endorphins, you need serotonin. These things come from physical movement, you know,
right.
different things. COVID tha, so I couldn't go anywhere, but
Yeah, yeah.
this was one thing I could do. Sitting at home, I could at least work out. That I made the best use of whatever space I had, and that's the only thing I did. But I did that. That was like my break time. You know, this is my time.
Wonderful. So so my next question is to you is that lot of nowadays a lot of youngsters and like have huge distraction
Huh.
due to social media.
Yeah.
So how did you like manage that? Did you cut off yourself completely out of social media? What was your strategy and how did you manage that?
Sure. So actually, it was very difficult for me to begin studying because as I said, I was heading operations in my last role, and I used to talk to at least 25 people on a daily basis, and I used to have a busy social life, and suddenly going from 24-hour conversation on phone about different things to no calls. It was weird for me. It was very weird. Like no messages, no calls, absolute social cutoff because COVID bhi aa gaya tha. Everything happened at the same time. So no physical meeting with friends, nothing happened. So I used to feel very weird and lonely sometimes. But for me, I think I used to keep reminding myself, why am I doing this? And I used to set mini goals for myself. See, if you think too far fetched, ठीक है, I used to think that मुझे Delhi एम्स जाना है. I used to always have that thing कि Delhi एम्स जाऊंगी मैं एम्स जाऊंगी किसी दिन. But मैं मिनी गोल्स सेट कर दी थी कि नेक्स्ट वाले टेस्ट मुझे फुल लाना है. So what should I do for that test? You know, and I used to keep myself uh, up and going with those goals in mind. And बीच में मतलब my social media interaction or my social media usage is about keeping in touch with people because probably because I'm a bit older than the generation today. They want to watch a lot of videos and everything. I was not a very content consumption kind of a person anyway, but jitna bhi mera tha, I definitely reduced it. I muted my notifications and I used to switch off my internet for a couple of hours. And my parents knew that I would not respond in WhatsApp at times, so they used to call me directly. And honestly speaking, in those days for the last 1 year, uh, I used to receive only one call every day from my parents. There was nobody else who used to call me. So that was the kind of social life I led. I'm not saying that is the ideal model to be in, but at least for me that was how it is. मतलब क्योंकि if I used to talk to people तो उससे बहुत time waste होता था. तो मैं कम लोगों से बात करती थी और quality बातें करती थी. मतलब
Right,
when you
right.
talk a lot, it's like a lot of junk, and people used to keep asking me कि अच्छा क्यों कर रही हो MBBS ये वो अभी क्या जरूरत है शादी नहीं करनी क्या. तो मैं थोड़ा दूर रहती थी ऐसे लोगों से कि यार ठीक है मतलब हटो मतलब. So I used to talk to very few
Selective
people.
people, yeah.
And they knew what I was doing, so they never bothered me. So I used to talk like once a week to them, and so it was I controlled my social media activity on. If you ask me, like I decided if I wanted to engage with somebody or not.
I think surrendering yourself to the goal is very important. If you want to achieve something, goal means the immediate goal I am talking about, not the larger goal, but surrendering to it is the key. Because
Of
unless you don't surrender and don't immerse yourself into it, you don't get it.
most people think of it as a burden कि बहुत पढ़ाई करनी है यार
Yeah,
10
yeah,
घंटे करनी अरे वापस आ गया सुबह अब उठ के पढ़ना पड़ेगा.
yeah,
you know
yeah, 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 yeah,
for me it was like कि यार आज ये chapter खत्म करना है. But
yeah.
I tried to appreciate the beauty of things, and I hated a couple of things in biology, plant physiology and all that, but
Right.
I used to think कि यार मतलब पढ़ना तो है ही, so let's just start appreciating the beauty and the magic of whatever is being taught. I
Yeah.
used to find organic very, very difficult. And towards the end, I actually fell in love with organic. Like, that's my strongest suit today. And
Wow.
so I kind of, I think it's more about psychology, how you think about something and it manifests the same way. For me, it was not a burden. For me, it was a responsibility. That,
Mhm.
I have chosen it.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
life. I am doing this for myself. Why should anybody else,
Yeah.
tell me to do it?
Yeah.
They don't need to tell me to do it
Yeah. I think here is a great
technically.
message for,
So if
yeah.
somebody else, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
please go ahead.
please go
Please go
on.
ahead. Please go ahead.
I'm
No, no. So
if
I was making a look based on your what you said. I was making an observation that here is a great point about choice. That as a student, like you worked as an executive, but again you took yourself to the student days back, and then you did choose. So whenever as a student, maybe at your age or my age or young age, whenever someone is choosing, I think that should be the choice should be with the student, and parents should facilitate that, and that makes a huge difference. Otherwise, it turns out to be a burden. It
correct,
Students look at it as burden. So
correct.
the difference between burden and what you are enjoying and why you are enjoying, it becomes so huge difference between this whole thing.
The glow is different when you do things by your own choice. There's
Yeah,
a different commitment and it comes from within, I think. And I think the message to all the parents or even students is that we're so afraid of failing. What if it doesn't work out?
yeah,
What if I fail? What if, that wasting of 1 year, wasting
yeah,
of time?
yeah,
What time are you wasting? You'll
yeah,
probably retire at 60. It's okay, you
yeah,
retire at 61, big deal. What's going
yeah,
on?
yeah, yeah,
But
of
the
course,
macroscopic things of,
of
from
course.
the, we think about 6 months, 8 months, 3 महीने नौकरी नहीं है. मतलब we are so hell bent upon, you
Yeah,
know, hyper productivity every minute, and that is what is killing us as a nation. I mean, why don't we just look at things from a, take a step back, think about the whole life. कि
yeah,
आपने 60 साल काम किया, आपने 59 साल काम किया, क्या फर्क पड़ेगा उससे?
yeah,
कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. But
yeah.
at least you should do what you want, because
And yeah, yeah, and do it in a quality way, other rather than just
take,
living your life big
absolutely.
size, like long life, then have some meaningful life. So that is very
So
important.
even the problem is that, we set timelines to everything. Like by 25 we should do this, by 26 we should do this, by 30 we should be married,
Yeah, yeah,
we should have one kid,
yeah,
35 we should have another kid, by 40 the kid should go to school, we have to save for that kid. And a lot of people don't want to do that. But
yeah.
there's a lot of undue pressure कि नहीं यही करना है, and you
Yes,
start believing in that when you
yes.
see something
There is
happening.
a stereotype in the society and in the pattern
Yes,
in
plus
the education system.
absolutely.
So
And
yeah,
when you see something happening 20 times, you feel that is normal. That is not normal. It's just
yeah,
you're being conditioned to do it. So we need to come out of that conditioning.
yeah,
I have been receiving a lot of hatred on
yeah,
every platform, to be very
yeah,
honest. On
yeah.
LinkedIn, there are people who are messaging me saying that, you're wasting your time, you should go and get married. I'm
Mhm,
getting such advice. So
mhm.
I kind of realize that what kind of country we are living in.
Yeah. That's
So
that's very unfortunate. I must tell you, Akriti, and we should not bother about such voices.
I
I
know, I'm just
think,
saying that the
yeah,
country has been conditioned. This is how the real country operates, and we need to
yeah,
change that.
yeah. I did my second master's few years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, at Harvard Kennedy School, and I think it was my decision, my choice. I wanted to study, and in the Western countries they offer
Normal.
mid-career programs, and
No,
like everyone goes through like mid-career crisis, and you can choose those programs, you can go and study. And what I learned that Harvard offers advanced leadership program, those who are retiring, and then
man,
they can think beyond retirement, how
interesting.
they can be gainfully engaged in meaningful way.
I should tell my dad to do that probably.
So there is no end to learning, and what you are learning, and I think what you have done is amazing, and I think it's a great message for anyone working in the industry, any industry, that you can definitely, and there are many examples that people do make shifts, and making shift or shifting to another career is completely okay. It's very, it should it should be taken as a normal course in life, rather than
Absolutely.
the way people are giving you remarks. So we should not be bothered about that. So Akriti, how do you see yourself? I know that after 5 years you'll be graduating, but how do you see after, say, you, because you spoke about serving people and also very passionate about women's rights. So once you become doctor, what do you do? Like, do you have any dream, anything which you want to accomplish?
One thing I realized about myself is no plan works.
Okay, so no plan at this point of time. That
At
is
this
also
point, I'm very excited to start studying, to be very honest. Now, I'm like,
Have you
okay,
got your college
no,
yet?
no, counseling
No.
hasn't started, so
Okay.
I'm waiting for that. There is some delay happening. So I just want to go.
What do you expect? Where do you expect with your ranking?
I can get anything in Mumbai
Oh,
and one of the top colleges, and I
okay.
am also very likely to get one of the new peripheral six aims.
I
So
see.
I'm still trying to research on different aspects of the college because I'll be gone for 6 years, and I want to make sure that I go into a place where I'll be happy for 6 years and
Sure.
where I will get the best of education. And since
Sure.
location is not a constraint for me, I'm happy living anywhere.
Sure.
So so the plan, coming back to the plan, अभी तो मुझे सर्जन ही बनना है because
Oh,
as the
wow.
pandit said कि she should be a surgeon.
So पंडित जी की बात सही होने वाली है.
Yes, I'm just kidding. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious to look inside the body, to be very honest.
Okay.
I want to see what's happening. I currently read a couple of things which are written by doctors, which are not medical books. I'm reading non-fictional books about their patient experiences. I'm reading a book from a neurosurgeon where he describes his life as a neurosurgeon. So
Oh,
I'm trying to understand the whole holistic part of being a doctor, not just that kitabi kida kind of person. I want to understand from a 360-degree point of view ki what is happening in medicine,
right.
what are the challenges, where is the major impact that can be done. And given that I have a technology background,
Hmm.
there can be a lot of things that I can do.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm just trying to understand how my past experience as an engineer can probably help in medicine. I bring in a very different perspective, and there is for me a lot of different aspect of medicine, not just a traditional route that has
Right.
already been taken.
Right.
So I'm pretty open about doing a lot of different things. Right now, I just want to
Wonderful.
go on a 6-year vacation, as is what I think in my head. I'm going on a
Yeah.
6-year vacation and I'm going to study a lot. And in the course of time, I'm going to figure out what I want to do next.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So Akriti, it was pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure someone like you can be a role model for thousands and thousands of students
Thank you.
who are trying to get into medicine, and many people who wants to who want to shift their career. Your story is so
Just
inspiring.
one thing I want to say before I leave.
Yeah, please, please, please.
So I realized when I was preparing for NEET that so many people don't have good teachers, good people who can tell them how to study. So I decided to start a YouTube channel of my own. I started it, and I want to give
Wonderful.
back a couple of things that I have learned. And
Wonderful.
the channel name is NEET Shorts with Akriti. You can find it on YouTube, and I would love if people can just come there and tell me what they want to hear about. I usually go on the feedback of students what they want to hear, and I make videos on that. So just trying to do my bit while I can, and
No,
before
that is wonderful. That is so helpful for students. I am sure that many students from small towns
yeah,
and big towns and in rural areas, they can get benefited, because doctor medicine is one profession where a lot of students want to come. And I think, as you rightly said in the beginning, that we need many more doctors in our country, good doctors in our country. So I would also request everyone to subscribe to Akriti's channel, YouTube channel.
it's
And
not about subscribing. I'm not looking for subscribers as
no,
much as
they should. Why they should not? Like,
no,
once they
more about
subscribe, they get to know when they get notifications when
as
upload new
I
videos. That's what I meant to say.
just want to help
So
someone out there.
yes, of course. And yeah, so wishing you all the best, Akriti, and thanks for talking to us,
Thank you
and
so much for
thanks
your
for participating in this discussion. And it was so
very
enriching to know about you, and know more about your journey, and wishing you all the best.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Bye
Thank
bye. Thank you.
you.
Bye.